I haven't read anything actually
Yeah.
because I couldn't find it anything. Like I was doing it today. I was going to my room and check it up everything again.
Okay, okay.
But
Yeah,
as
so
we had it class, I didn't find it anything.
all right. So let's talk about scanning. Hello.
Okay.
Okay. So in this module, we are going to see network scanning concept and scanning tools, scanning techniques, scanning beyond IDS and firewall, banner grabbing, and draw network diagram. So what are these? So let's start with network scanning concept. So what we do in network scanning is as a whenever we try to perform pen testing inside any organization or any internal network, so we need to find like vulnerabilities inside any network. So we have some objectives, so we have some goals. So we need to in network scanning, these are our objective and we need to find these things inside. These are our targets, so these are our priorities. So whenever we do network scanning, these are things which we need to find inside a network. So
Mm-hmm.
first we need to discover live hosts. So if there are 100 PCs, then how many PCs are active? So
Mm-hmm.
we need to find live hosts and IP addresses of those live hosts. And once we
Mm-hmm.
got the IP address, then we need to find the open ports of those live hosts. So how many ports are open? And after that we need to discover the operating system and architecture of that host, and then we need to discover the services running on the ports. So if there are 10 ports open, then how many services, what are the services running on those ports, and what are the versions. So we also need to find out the version of those ports. And after that we will find vulnerabilities based on the versions and ports. So I
Mm-hmm.
was talking about the port number. So let's talk about ports. What are ports? So according to IANA, the Internet Assigned Number Authority. So according to the IANA, there are 65,535 ports. So from 0 to 65,535 ports, and in which 0 to 1023 are well-known ports, and from 1024 to 49,151 is user ports, and 49,152 to 65,535 is dynamic or private port. So what we do, so by default there are like nmap. So the tool we are going to use is going to scan these 1024 ports, and out of the 65,535 ports, there are some ports which are vulnerable, and our primary target will be those ports. So what are those ports? So 21, 22, 23, 25, and 123, and 135, 137, 139, 161, 162, and 389.
Which port are those?
So as I told you, there are 65,535, and
Mm-hmm.
you cannot like we need to find all the ports, open ports. So how many ports are open from out of those 65,000 ports?
In a
So
in
in
a
a PC,
in a
in
PC. Okay.
yeah, every host
Sorry,
has.
I'm just confused. That's why I was just want to make sure
Yeah,
where
so
we going.
every host there are 65 fun ports, and we need to find all the open ports, all the services which are running on those ports, and the versions. And based on the service and version, we have to find vulnerabilities inside them. So that's the thing. So let's talk about the communication flags. So before talking about these, we need to let me told you about. Yep. So I was telling you about the OSI model. So I told you to study it. So well, let's see what is OSI model. So there are two models in networking. In networking,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
OSI and TCP IP. So previously, before these two models, in the early stages when we don't have these models, what we used to do is we cannot be able to communicate from one country to another country, or we cannot be able to communicate in the entire world. So
Mhm.
we were restricted. So what we used to do is, if a person is in US, he cannot communicate with the person sitting in the India, because every country have their own protocol, every country have their own procedures. So to overcome this, we need to develop we develop OSI and TCP/IP. So the purpose of these models is to everyone can able to communicate with anybody inside in the whole world. So that was the purpose. So, and not in previously we cannot be able to communicate. We can only communicate within the country. And even the
Mhm.
restrictions were that if a person is using Dell laptop and other person is using HP, we cannot be able to communicate with these two, because both are different vendors, different manufacturers. So a person who is using Dell can only communicate with the person using the same device. So these were the restrictions before. Then to overcome these restrictions, we developed the OSI model. So after that, uh, OSI is a reference model, and TCP/IP is used for implementation. So OSI is developed by the ISO, International Standard for Organization,
Mhm.
International Standard Organization, and OSI, Open System Interconnection.
Interconnection. Yep.
System interconnection. And TCP/IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol. So that's TCP. So first it was developed by ISO, and it's just a reference model, but for implementation we use TCP/IP. So let's see what are the. So in OSI we have 7 layers, and in TCP/IP somewhere you will see 4 layers, and sometimes you will see 5 layers. So there is no exact. Uh, in some books you will find 4 layers, and some books you will find 5 layers. So there is no, because it doesn't, TCP/IP doesn't have any documentation. So the person who are developing that, they just quickly develop
Mhm.
it and for implementation, because it was OSI was taking a lot of time
Mhm.
for development, because they are following all the protocols, so they are doing everything from scratch. So but they wanted to just quickly implement, so that everybody can able to communicate. So they just implement it, but they did not make any proper documentation. So that is why there is some conflict. Some people say that there are 4 layers, some say there are 5 layers. So but so that is why for reference purposes we use this, and implementation we use this. So let us see. So there are 7 layers. So if we talk about all these layers, so the first layer is the physical layer. So what is and second is data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and application
Mhm.
layer. So let's talk about application. So start with it. So which layer is first and which layer is the last? It depends. If you are receiving anything, if you are receiving any data, then physical is the first, and if you are sending any data, then application is the first. So
Mhm.
that's the difference. So if we talk about application layer, so all the applications, so like FTP protocol, Telnet, SMTP, email, HTTP protocol, World Wide Web, DNS, so all the web applications that you use, all the applications. So suppose if
Mhm.
I'm using any email application, so these works on the application layer, because the application layer provides us interface in order to send any data. So if we don't have any interface, then how we can able to send data? So through application layer, it will provide us interface, and through that we are going to send the data. And so that's the work of application layer. And if you talk about presentation layer, so what presentation layer does is it does encryption and decryption. So through presentation layer, it will, so whenever we receive any data, so what presentation layer is going to do? Presentation layer is going to define us that where we can open that particular data. So suppose
Mhm.
if you receive an mp3 file, then you can't open in image viewer, or you cannot open in PDF viewer,
Yep.
because that is MP3 file. So
Mhm.
it's the job of presentation layer to define, so whether it's MP3 file, so I have to open in MP3 player. So it is like a document, then I have to open in MS Office, or MS Word, or something like that. If it's a video, then I have to open in VLC or any Windows media player. So it will all be defined by the presentation layer. So it will just the purpose of presentation layer is to it will make the content human readable, so humans can access it, human can read it. So that's the work of presentation layer. And if we talk about session layer, so what session layer does is, whenever we communicate with another PC or another server, so the moment we connect, it will create a session, it will establish a session, and by the time we are communicating, the session will remain established. And as soon as we close the communication, as soon as we terminate the communication, the session will be vanished, session will be closed. So session is just it will just act as a bridge. As you can see, it will
Mhm.
just whenever we
Yeah, yeah,
communicate,
I
it
can
will
I can
establish a
understand.
yeah, it will establish a session. So
Yeah.
that's session layer. And if we talk about transport layer, so two most important protocol works on transport layer are TCP and UDP. So TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol, and UDP is User Datagram Protocol. So
Mhm.
what transport layer does is, so it will divide. So in transport layer, segmentation of data happens. So what is segmentation of data? So transport layer is going to, so suppose we are sending this large data. So transport layer will divide this large chunk data into small chunks, and then it will send it to the next layer. So it will just divide packets into multiple chunks. So which is called segments. So it will divide a data into multiple segments, and it will send it. When it after sending, it will be received by the network layer. And what network layer does is, network layer, it does the routing. So it works as a network controller, so traffic
Mhm.
controller. So what it does, so whenever it will define the fastest route for the data to travel. So if we are sending data, what network will do is, it's going to show us the path. So if we have so suppose if you have to come to, like, if we have to go from one place to another place, there are multiple paths. Either we can go by walking, we can go by bike, or we can go by car, or we can go by air. So there are multiple ways we can go. So similarly, network layer will define the path, so which route should we take so that our data can be reached faster. So, and by default, router will define the path, and by default router will choose the best possible path, so the fastest path which can send our data to the destination. And from segments, it is going to divide packets into here the data is in segments, and here the data will be in packets.
Mhm.
And if we talk about data link layer, so data link layer, what it's going to do, it's going to divide the packets into frames. So data will be inside in frames, and switch works on this layer. So in a network, when you see a switch, so the switch is works in this layer. And what it's going to do, it's going to do the error correction and detection. So it's going to detect any error, so whether that data which is being sent, if there is any error, if there is any loss of data, then
Mhm.
it's going to retransmit those lost packet.
Mhm.
So the error correction and detection will be checked, and it will also look control the flow. So what does flow control mean? So if I am suppose if the sender is sending at the speed of 10 mbps, and receiver is receiving at 2 mbps speed, then obviously there will be loss of data. So the receiver cannot be able to handle those data because the speed is too much, and it cannot handle those data. So it will control the flow. So the speed that sender is receiving, it will send at that speed. So suppose like I'm throwing glass. If I throw one glass at you, you can able to catch it, but if I throw 10 glasses at you, you cannot be able to catch it. So similar way
Mhm.
this happens. So
Yep.
and physical, so in physical, layer, what happens is the data will be transferred, converted from frames to bits, and through the like any cable, any all the like RJ45 cable and Ethernet cable, or various cables, the data will be sent to the receiver. So that's physical. So the data will be inside bit in form of bit, and it's going to transmit it through the cable wires. So this is called OSI model. So all those 7 layers are here. And if we
Yeah.
talk about TCP IP, so let me show you. There is no TCP. Yep. So as you can see, this is TCP IP, and TCP IP is just a concise version of OSI model. So as you can see, it also has application layer, and so the application layer of TCP will consist of application layer, presentation layer, and session layer. So these 3 layers equals to 1 layer of TCP IP. Transport layer is same. Internet layer, network
With
layer is
network
called
layer
internet layer, and physical
and
layer
data.
and data layer, these two combined and will be called as network access layer. So these 3 combined into this, and these 2 combined into this, and all those 2 are same. So this is what TCP IP model is. So that was OSI and TCP IP. So okay, so now before that, let's talk about the difference between TCP and UDP. So the difference between TCP and UDP is TCP is slow, UDP is very fast, and TCP is connection oriented and UDP is connection less. So what's that is, suppose okay, these two are communicating with each other. So this is going to send hello, how are you, and this is TCP. So in TCP there is a segmentation of data, as I told you. So it's going to divide data into multiple segments. So and it's going to divide it so that it can rearrange at the destination, because it doesn't like, it's not necessary that if I am sending like this, then the data should have to be sent like this. So I am sending hello, how are you, then there might be a chance that the data will receive at the destination like this. So the data might be received at the destination like this, but because it does it does the sequencing, so it knows which packet is at which segment is at which part, which layer. So what it's going to do, it's going to rearrange it like this. So it's going to rearrange based on this segment. So 1 by 5, 2 by 5, 3 by 5, 4 by 5, 5 by 5, 5 by 5. So based on that, it's going to rearrange. And if there is any loss of packet, so suppose if how can be able to like we just there is some error and this cannot be sent. So what it's going to do, it's going to see, when the TCP will know that this packet has lost, so it is going to retransmit that packet. So it's going to retransmit that packet, and it will resend this packet to the destination. So
So
this is why,
it's going to do it the retransmission and
yeah,
until
yeah,
it's getting receiving that package again.
yeah. So that is why it is slow, because it does the sequencing, and it will it is going to check if there is any error, and if there is a error, then it will resend the packet. So it all these things will take time. So which is why it is very slow. But if we talk about UDP, so UDP is very fast, and what does it? It doesn't really care about anything. So whether the data is being received or not, UDP will just take the packet and it will just send to the destination. So whether the data is correct or incorrect, or however it reaches, it doesn't care. So if I'm sending this, and if it is received by this, then it will remain like this. UDP doesn't care. The job of UDP is to just send the data, so it will just send you. It doesn't care if there is like any the message doesn't send accurately, or the message is not in sequence. It will just take the message and it will just send it. So suppose if there is loss of packet, so this cannot be able to transfer, then UDP doesn't care. It will just
It doesn't care.
yeah, it won't do anything. So where when we use UDP and when we use TCP, so UDP is used for live streaming. So whenever we do live streaming, so when we saw cricket matches or live news or live sports, that is UDP. So you might notice that whenever there is some glitch, we cannot be able to see those things. So even if we are talking in mobile, so if there is some network problem, we cannot be able to heard like what the other person is saying. So
Mm-hmm.
that's so UDP. So whenever we need some whenever we need some fast service, so we are fast data transfer, we are going to use UDP. And whenever we need the reliable connection, so that every packet should be sent in sequence in good order, then we use TCP. So that's the difference between these two.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's talk about a TCP header. uh, okay, we'll get to know about. Okay, let's see. So the TCP. So in TCP, this is the TCP header. So whenever a data is being sent, so before the data there will be a TCP header. So that what that header is going to contain. So the header is going to contain 16-bit source port number. So from which port it is coming. So as you know, there are 65,535 ports. So it is going to see from which port the data has been sent, and for which port the data has to be sent. So if it is sending from port number 50 and the destination port is port number 100, so it will take care of that. And 32-bit sequencing number. So as you know the sequence, so 1 by 5, 2 by 5, so all the sequence numbers, so it is going to see that. Okay, those. And if we talk about acknowledgement number, so what is, okay, so 32-bit sequence acknowledgement, we talk about these when we talk about yeah, when we talk about three-way handshake, then I will tell you what is sequence number and what is acknowledgement number. So and we are going to see what is flags, so just ignore these three things.
Okay.
So 44-bit header length is just it will keep the length of the data, and is going to reserve. So what is the length of the header? And
Mm-hmm.
window size is used for windowing. So what's the window size? And urgent pointer, we are going to talk about this. And checksum is just a random number. So it will randomly, so whenever a packet is being sent, it is going to randomly assign checksum number. So based on that, it is going to check for any error or any uh, it is going to detect any error. So that is checksum number. So every packet will have a uniquely identified checksum. So how the checksum looks, I can show you. If I open this, and so this is how it looks. So it if the value got changed, then it means then there is some error. If the value got
Like
changed in the check, yeah,
inscription.
yeah, yeah. So this is how the checksum is. So
Mm-hmm.
based on that checksum, it is going to know that if there is some error or something like that. So that is checksum. And urgent pointer, we are going to see what is urgent pointer, and these are some options. So mostly these are the. And Okay, let me open something like that. And if we compare that to the UDP, so you are going to see it is so small, so concise. So it has so many things, but UDP
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have much thing. So it's only have source port. So from which port it is coming, destination port, which port it has to go, length. So what is the length of the data, and checksum the uniquely identified number. So
Mm-hmm.
only it will contain only these four things. So now let's talk about the communication flag. So the flags we were, so these all these flags. So there are six flags in TCP: the urge, ACK, PSH, RST, SYN, and FIN. So what are they? So what is urgent flag? So whenever we need to set the priority for any packet, so when we want to send a packet fast, so suppose there
Mm-hmm.
are 10 packets and we want to send one packet very fast, so what we are going to do, we are going to put one here. So if we are using urgent flag, this 16-bit urgent pointer will be increased by one. So one means on, zero means off in binary language, you might know. So
Binary.
yeah, so zero means off, one means on. So whenever we are going to use urgent flag, it is going to increase it by one. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the use of urgent pointer. And okay, so where was, yeah, so that is urgent flag. It is just going to set the priority. And acknowledgement, so ACK flag. So acknowledgement flag is a flag. It will send, so when the receiver receives the packet, then it will tell that it has received the packet. So what is acknowledgement is when someone calls you hi, you will also going to say hi to them, so you are going to reply to them. So that is what acknowledgement is. So when someone initiates any connection, so someone, when one computer will send you the message that I want to have a conversation with you, I want to start the communication, then you, what you are going to do, you are also going to reply to it that yeah, okay, I'm
Yep.
open, let's talk.
I'm
So
open.
that's acknowledgement. And
Mm-hmm.
PSH push flag. So push flag sends all data immediately. So whenever we are sending that packet, so there might be chance that the packets cannot be able to send, like the packets might stuck somewhere. So by using push flag, it is going to flush all the data. It is going to send all the buffer data immediately. So that
Mm-hmm.
is what push flag is. And if we talk about reset flag, so a reset flag is going to reset the whole communication. So whenever we are communicating with any system, any server, and we use the RST flag, so RST flag is going to reset the whole communication. And if we talk about synchronization flag, so synchronization flag is used to initiates a cache connection. So whenever we need to communicate, so when I want to communicate with your PC, or when I want to communicate with Google, when I want to
Mm-hmm.
communicate with Facebook, then I have to send the SYN packet. So my system will send the SYN packet to the facebook.com web server, and that server will reply me with ACK, acknowledgement. So
Mm-hmm.
to initiate the connection, we use SYN, and it's going to acknowledge that. And finish, so when we want to finish the communication, we use finish flag. So when we finish the talk, so okay, bye, so we can that's it for today. So this something like that, it is going to just finish the communication. So these are the six communication flag.
So where are we going to use the communication flags actually?
In the communication, so I will show you. It's just for like knowledge. So
Okay.
like these things happen inside our network. So like there
Mm-hmm.
are these flags. So there's like
Mm-hmm.
not very use. So when we talk about, when we are going to talk about three-way handshake, so I'm going to show you how it can be displayed, but it's just for like knowledge. So background knowledge, like how the things happen in the background whenever you do something, whenever whenever two systems communicate with each other, or whenever you open any website, then what is how the communication happens from your
Mm-hmm.
PC to the server. So it's just for the background knowledge how things
Okay.
happen.
Perfect.
So if we talk about three-way handshake, so what is three-way handshake? So whenever we communicate with any web server, with any server, any system, then there is a handshake called a three-way handshake. So it is also known as TCP session establishment. So what is three-way handshake? So suppose this is my PC, and this is Facebook server or any Google server or something like that. So first I told you that since we are going to start a session to initiate communication, we use SYN flag. So my PC is going to send the SYN flag to the system, to the server of Facebook,
Mhm.
and like I would like to talk to you on this port number and something like that. And the what a Facebook server is going to do, it's going to reply me with acknowledgement that okay, I'm open on this port, let's talk. And because
And
I initiate the cache connection and it send me the acknowledgement, but connection has been established, started from my end, so I started the connection and it reply me that I am open, but the session has not be started, the communication is not started from this end, so it is also going to send me a synchronization. So
Mhm.
this person started communication from itself, and this computer is going to start the communication from his end, so it is also going to send the SYN. And when this person send a SYN, then we also have to send him the acknowledgement.
Yeah,
So this is what three-way handshake is. When the
that
first person
I got it. Like acknowledgement that let's do communication.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So when this initiates a session, it will acknowledge that okay, let's talk. Then this will also going to say initiates a session, and this person is also going to say okay, yeah, let's start communication. So this is what three-way handshake is. And for sequence number, if you talk about sequence number, so here we saw the sequence number and acknowledgement number. So what are they?
Mhm.
So yeah. So with the whenever we send any SYN flag, so with SYN flag, it is also going to send us a sequence number, and this sequence number will be randomly generated. So it will be uniquely generated sequence number. And what's going to happen after that? So when I send SYN with a sequence number, this the receiver is going to send the acknowledgement, and that with the acknowledgement number, and that acknowledgement number will be one increment of this sequence number. So this was 10, it will be one increment of this. And when it is going to send the SYN, so with SYN there will also be a uniquely generated sequence number, so it's going to be generated randomly, so like 142. And when it this person is going to send the acknowledgement, so can you tell me the acknowledgement number?
It's going to be one up. Yep.
Yep. So one
So
up
it's
of
going to
what?
be
One up,
11.
one up of this or one up of this? Yeah, so
So
it's going to be one up of this. So sequence number, because here when I send the SYN with this number, it will one up this. The response is one up, and now we are he's sending SYN. So the and with this number, so the one up will be this
uh,
143. Yeah, and this sequence number will be one increment of this. So why we use this? So this sequence number is going to be used for the future communication, so we reserve this for any future communication. So that is the sequence number. So
mhm.
this will be uniquely generated, and this will be the acknowledgement is one up of sequence, so just remember that. So this is sequence, acknowledgement one up, this is sequence, and we have to
Mhm.
send acknowledgement one up, and the last one is the increment of first one. So this is how a three-way handshake works. And if we talk about termination, so how we finish the communication. So as I told you, a fin flag is used for terminating the
Finish.
session. So
Mhm.
this sequence number will be uniquely generated, and
Mhm.
then for this sequence number one up the acknowledgement, so it's also going to increase it, and it is going to send the acknowledgement, and it is also going to send a sequence number,
Sequence number.
and that after acknowledgement it's going to send the finish request separately. So
Mhm.
and that sequence number will be the one increment of this, and after that it is going to acknowledgement that okay, I have received your finish
Sequence,
request.
and then it's going to
Yeah,
acknowledge the sequence,
acknowledge, yes, and
and
this
then
is
it
going to
is
be
going
the
to
one up.
one up the sequence.
So
Okay, okay.
first it will send finish, and he will acknowledge that I have received your finish request, and then he will end the communication from his end also. So he is also going to send finish, and he is also going to acknowledge that I have also received your finish request. And these are the things which are increased. So sequence, one up, sequence, this is one up sequence, and this is a bit confusing because here it is sending the separate request, but here it was sending two requests in one, but here it is sending the separate. So that's the thing. And here the sequence acknowledgement number will be implemented, and this will be for future communication, it is going to be implemented sequence. So this is how we terminate any session. So to establish any session and to terminate any session. So that is TCP three-way handshake. Yeah. So let's talk about the scanning tools. So there are following scanning tools. So Zenmap, Nmap, HPing3. So Nmap and Wireshark, these two are very popular, and almost every network administrator or the person who is in networking, they use it. So what are they? We are going to talk about. So what was our goal here? So this was all the basic like behind the scene concept, and now we are going to see how to achieve our goal. So this was our objective. So find live host, IP address, open ports, and operating system, and everything else. So what we are going to do here, and how we are going to identify live host. So we are going to use the Nmap tool, which is very popular scanning tool, and it is like very wide and very popular, and it is very deep. So there are many commands in Nmap. So to able to uh, find the active host. So our first target is to find active host. So to be able to find the active host, we have to use this ping command, the nmap-sn, and the target of the IP. So what
So
it,
why we didn't use a Zenmap? Are we going to use the Zenmap or no?
I will tell you that also. So Zenmap is the graphical version of Nmap, so nothing
Okay.
else. So let me show you first. So if we go to the information gateway and we see the Zenmap, it's going to
It's
open. Here we need to enter our target IP. So if I enter this target IP, so in Zenmap we don't need to enter the command. So it is also, we just need to set the IP address, and it will automatically do the thing. So here we can choose type of scan. So you want any intense scan. For finding live host, we can do ping scan, quick scan, so regular scan. So there are various types. So if I choose quick scan, the command is going to change. If I choose a regular scan, the command is going to change. So it will automatically set the command. We don't need to set any command. So if I do scan, it is going to show us the result. And what is this, what are they, we are going to talk in a bit. So this is how we use Zenmap. So but people don't usually use this. So the most people recommend that we should use Nmap, because that is like more faster, and it has like people prefer to use CLI based tools rather than graphical tools. So this is how we do the, you just need to enter the target and that's it in Zenmap. But if we talk about Nmap, and Nmap stands for network mapper, and how Nmap works is, so Nmap is going to send TCP request to the all the PCs. So suppose we are connected inside a PC, inside a network, and there are 100 PCs connected. So what we are going to do, by using Nmap is going to send TCP request to all the host, all the other host inside the network, and based on the response it got, it is going to analyze those response, and it is going to show us the output. So that is how Nmap works.
Mhm.
So if we talk about the command, so to discover all the live hosts inside a network, what is the command? So the command is Nmap. So Nmap is the tool name, Nmap, and -s for scanning, and for ping we use N, and we need to set the range. So what range means is, this is the IPv4 address. So let me tell you something. There
So
are
I
two
do
types.
not. Do I have to download that application, ZenMap?
If you have Kali Linux, it is pre-installed.
Don't see actually.
So what version? So you have Kali 2020. Yeah, you have Kali 2020. If you type ZenMap, it is going to open ZenMap. Just type ZenMap in the terminal.
Okay,
Okay.
just give me a second. Sorry, I'm just trying to learn it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you do it with me, it's good.
CEN. Nope, it don't open anything.
Okay, so it means there is no tool, but do you have install the latest version of Kali is like it's a bit different than all the previous version because it gives all the customization options. So there might be chance that Nmap is not installed. So just try and do Nmap once. If you see these things, then
Okay, just give me a quick second. So when I click, I'm getting the host discovery. Yeah, I'm getting the Nmap right here.
so I think you need to then install ZenMap separately if you want to use it because they might doesn't include ZenMap. So the new update is very
Information
like different,
gathering.
but there is no
No,
need
I
to
do
use.
not have it any tools in the information gathering, I guess. Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
do
yeah,
have it. DNS, okay. I don't need it, but I'm just asking.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
so I have a Nmap, which is the regular use basis.
which is command line version,
Hmm.
yeah, and which is most popular
Hmm.
used by like nobody uses them. Like it's people say that you should use CLI based tools rather than GUI based tools. So
Yeah,
yeah, and I was talking about IPv4. So do you know what is IP address?
yep.
So in IP there are like two versions: IP version 4 and IP
IPv6
version 6. And how IP version 4 looks, so it has like
192.168.0.1.
something like that, and it is like four
It's
characters
for
that four something like it is like this.
yep.
So that is
In the
IPv4.
future, they are trying to use the IPv6. Currently, they are working on it. Some of the places start doing the IPv6, but most of the places use the IPv4.
Yeah. So what I was telling, so there are five classes of IP. So class
Mm.
A, class B, class C,
Classy,
class D, and
D.
class E. But we only use these three because these two are used for different. So for multicasting and for research purposes. So this is used for
Mm.
multicasting and this is used for research purposes. So we only have to deal with these three.
Yeah,
So we don't use
they
those
have a
two.
range. Yeah,
Yeah. So the
how far I
class A IP
remember.
is 1.0.0.120.
One.
Okay. To 127.0.0.0,
Mhm.
and this is going to be 128 dot
128.0.0.0.
dot yeah okay, let me use this to 0.0 to 191.0.0.0, and this is going to
That's
be
a class B. Class C.
192.223 dot, and D, if we look at D, so it is 224 0 to 239 dot 0 dot 0 dot 0, and if we look at E, it is from 240 to 255. So this is the range. So if we leave these two and if we talk about these, so this is the IP ranges. And
Mhm.
in order to search, so in any internal network and in if we talk about, so we have private IPs inside internal networks. So how we are going to set the range? So because suppose you have this IP
Mhm.
192.168.0.143, and how you are, and if you want to see if all the other PCs, so how many PCs are inside this network, then how you are going to scan? What we are going to do, we are going to use this value. So it is like deep networking concept. So it is like, it is called a CIDR value, classless interdomain value. So
Mhm.
CID, we are going to give the CIDR range, and what it means is like, we are telling this, by giving this command, we are telling to scan the whole subnet. So all the
Subnet.
entire subnet, so all the PCs inside this network, we want to find all those PCs, we want to send a request to all those PCs. So this is what it means. And if you don't know about these things, what we can do, we can use the wildcard like this. So by this means, it is going to scan all those PC connected inside the network. So we can also use this, and we can also use this. So first we need to just find out our own IP in order to scan. So, and let me open this. uh, because so first we need to find our own IP. So my
IP
IP
config.
is ifconfig in Linux. Yeah.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
IP.
Yeah, we have to do ifconfig. Yeah.
Okay, so let me. Okay, how to clear on a Kali terminal, because I know only Windows one.
How to?
How to clear the terminal on
So
a
just do
Linux?
Control L.
Control L.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
you can also type clear, but Control L is like shorthand. So
Okay. So uh, where you at actually?
yeah, this
IF
is,
config.
and here you can see in the inet. So it's going to show you the interface. So I have the interface
Mm.
ETS0. You might see WL0 or ETS0 also. So, and
Where?
this is my network. Can you able to see my screen?
Yeah, yeah, I can see.
Yeah,
Sorry. So iNet. Okay.
yeah. Here it is
Okay.
going to show you in the second line.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have a different IP. Yeah.
So what is it, 10 dot something?
Nope.
Yeah, yeah. So it start from 92, no, 192.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now I know my own IP, and now I want to find all the IP inside the network. So what I'm going to do? Let me just do the command nmap scan ping 192.168.0.101. This is my, so I'm going to find all the IP. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to use .1/24 to search the entire subnet and to find IP address.
So is
Like,
it before you enter? Have a question.
yeah.
So is it going to scan it or is it going to ping?
So once we do this, it is going, the nmap is going to send the ping request to all the PCs inside the network, and it will send the ICMP packet. So in whenever we do ping, the ping command will send the ICMP packets, and this it's an echo request. So it is going to send to the all the PCs, and based on the response, we will find out that whether the PC is on. So if we receive the response of this packet, it means the PC is alive, and if we don't receive any response, then which means PC is not alive. So it is shut down.
Okay. So my other question is that like some person have a 192.168.2.5 or 2.65.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Their iNet. Okay,
Yeah.
and they want to put it on a nmap. Is nmap
Yeah.
space negative sn 192.168.2.0, or is he going to use 2.1?
2.1. 2.1. So we have to use 1/24. So whether it's 2, whether it's 10, 20, it's nothing matters. The fourth octet. So these are called octets. So this is one octet, this is two octet, this is third.
Just third and fourth, yeah.
Yeah, so these three octet will be similar to our
Sim.
IP address,
Mhm.
and we will change this last octet. So 1/24. Or if you have confusion, we can use just simply star.
No,
So
let's just.
yeah,
I don't want to take a shortcut. Let's do
yeah,
it
yeah.
one. Okay.
So if I press enter, it is going to show me how many PCs are alive inside my network. So
So it's
as
going to take a time, or do I have to enter?
just enter it, it will like take couple of seconds.
Okay, so it's going to show me how many PCs are connected on my network, yeah?
Yeah,
PC, mobile, anything. So it's a house
yeah,
network, so it's
yeah.
going to
It's
connect with,
PC, mobile, everything. Yeah.
yeah, so, okay, so start map, MAC address, I got start ping time, ping is scan time, ping is scan time about 100% done. Hmm.
So
So
does it?
you have a nmap report and you have a IP address and
Yeah.
host is 15 seconds.
So this is one host, this
Mm-hmm.
is one IP, this is one
Mm-hmm.
host. So these many PCs are online, these many are active, and I can further perform scanning on any of these hosts.
Mm-hmm.
So
So it's at the bottom it's a nmap done
yeah,
256 IP addresses,
yeah,
10 host up,
yeah,
scan in 8.14 second.
yeah. So after the scan is done, it's going to show you like this. So the scan
Mm-hmm.
is done, and when you do the 1/24, as you can see, it is going to scan the 256 IP addresses.
IP address.
Yeah, inside your
If we do
sub.
less, like we do, I, I have to go back on my classes because, as I told you, I had some networking classes done,
Okay, okay.
and I forgot it, like how we used to calculate actually.
Yeah. So it's all about subnetting. So if you know subnetting concept, then you will get to know. So like how we assign IP inside a network. So that's the thing.
So as soon as you change the number at the back, it's going to be more IP address than the usual actually.
Yep.
It's going to be more. So back number, I forgot the concept
Similarly,
actually.
if it is
Subnetting.
if it's like 8, usually it is 8, 16, or
Hmm.
24. It is these things. So we usually use this, and
24.
it is going to show you the list. So every octet is of 255. So this 192 can go up to 255. This 168 can go up to 255. This 0
Hmm.
can go up to 255, and this
255. Yeah.
1 can go up to 255. So when we do 1/24, it is going to scan this octet,
Oh, take.
all the 255 IPs of this octet. So
Hmm.
this is how we do.
Yep.
And we got the result. So what I'm going to do, we can choose any IP address to perform further.
Hmm.
So how many ports are open or something like that. So what I'm
So
going to do,
why you have a MAC addresses? Why I don't have a map MAC addresses?
it should show MAC address also. When we do that,
Mm.
this it's also going to show us the MAC address.
Okay, just give me a second.
If you see,
Sorry, I had to go way up in the sky because I control L. Yeah.
yeah, Control L.
Okay. That's gonna take a long time right
You
now.
can scan once more, it's going to take 5-6 seconds.
Yeah. So I go with the 24.
Can you get remote access of my computer?
Okay, so I do not have it. Which command you give it? I don't see any MAC addresses actually. I have IP addresses. That's all I
So
have it.
it's not showing MAC addresses. So well, it used to show it. It show like in my it is showing. So it usually shows, but I don't know why it is not showing in your PC. So
Yeah.
we can there are various tools for scanning. So Nmap is a tool. We can also use Sparta. So I don't know if it's inside your system. So if you type Sparta,
Okay. SPA.
RTA, Sparta.
Right here. No, I do not have that.
Oh, the 2020 version is like it's quite people having problem with this version. So I
Okay,
don't know.
just give me a second. I am just gonna do this.
Let me tell you.
Sorry, which version do you have it actually over there?
2019.3. It's
Okay,
any version before 2020 is good. So you will get lots of tools. But in 2020, I don't know why what they did. It's like very different. They are just
so
customized
I'm
version.
just doing it Kali 2019.4. Is that good?
Yeah, 2019.4 is should be good. So you
Which
won't
one
have
do you
any
have it?
2019.3.
3?
Yeah, point 3.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna download it and then we can keep going actually.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna
So
put it on.
there is one more like let me tell you net discover. So we use this. So you can use this command and it's going to scan. So it's going to scan everything. So as you can see, and it's going to show you. So the command is this. If your interface is ETH0, you can use ETH0. If it's WLAN0, you can use WLAN0 or whatever the interface.
I have no idea where I can find it. This.
You can find this by using ifconfig and it is going to show you here. So what is your interface?
I have config. We have seen
Yeah.
Ethernet 0.
So just use this command and tell me if it's working. So net discover, just type net discover.
NETT
Yeah, this.
COVER. Nope, it's not working.
So
It don't have it.
okay,
What
so
can I say?
yeah,
When I say like okay, type full command actually.
uh, okay, this is the command,
Yeah,
and once
enter it.
I press enter, it is going to scan
Looks like that.
everything, the entire network, and it's going to
No,
show me the results. So
no,
as
I
you,
do not have it actually.
so here it will show
Ooh,
me the
that's
IP,
gonna
MAC
kill my
address,
time.
and MAC number and everything. So as you can see, there might be a phone. So OnePlus technology. So there is
Mm-hmm.
also a phone connected. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how we can do. So for finding live host, there are various methods. So after we find live host, so what we can do? So once we have find this, so our this objective is completed. Now we also find the IP address, and now we what we need to do? We need to find the open ports of live hosts. We need to find this. So how many ports are open? So to
Mm-hmm.
find that, we can use the command this the TCP connect or full open scan command. So it is also you can call full open or people call it TCP scan. So Why it is called TCP connect? So the command is nmap-s. So instead of n, we use T, capital T. T stands for TCP. So TCP scan. And this is the scan. And if I press enter, it is going to show me all the open ports inside a PC. So this PC has these many ports open. So it is, so by default, what nmap is going to do, nmap is going to search for the top 1000 ports. So because it has 65,000 ports, but it is only going to scan, if we did not mention how many ports or which ports to scan, by default it is going to just search for the 1000. And you can see it is showing 977 ports are closed out of 1000 and 23 ports are open. So you are saying something?
Nope. Just have a quick question. Do you have it file for Kali 2019? Any file?
Yeah, I have file. If I
Can you transfer that file right here? Or is it going to be making your system slow?
It's like 3.4 GB and yep. Let me search if they should have like old version. What I'm searching? 2019.3.
2019.4 is coming from some different network actually. They have a 2019 actually.
They don't have the. I go to download. So this is 2020 and
You can just do it later on, you know, if you got a time.
yeah, I can upload this, but it's going to take time because obviously my internet is not like
Fast.
good. Yeah,
Fast.
fast.
Okay. I have it my Google Drive or my drives actually. So I can give you the access for that. You can just put it in there, and then I will be having access to later on, and you can give it whoever need it. Like a OneDrive. I have
Yeah.
like around like a 50-60 GB OneDrive.
Yeah, you can give the access, or I can upload from anywhere, like from on Mega or like a Google Drive or anywhere. I can also upload, and I can share you the link on email or something. So you can also download it from there. It's up to you.
What's the size for that actually?
3.45, 3.5 GB.
Okay, perfect. Just have to delete a lot of things.
Yeah.
Ask
So
me. Okay, so used is this much, so I can just create a new folder right here and scroll Kali and where is it? Kali right here. I'm gonna create shared. Lose all the access. There you go. Can I copy somewhere? Oh, yeah, I do have it your email, so I'm just going to send it to you. Okay.
okay.
Okay, perfect. Let's move it on.
So
You can
yeah.
just put it on there later on, and I will just download
Okay.
it. Like,
After the class, I will upload. I will start uploading, and I don't know how much time it takes. So
mhm.
yeah. So yeah, and so we were talking about the scanning.
Mm-hmm.
So I perform this TCP scan, and it gives me all the open ports inside a PC. You are doing something?
No, no, I'm just
Okay.
looking at you.
Okay. So yeah, I told you by default it's going to scan all only 1000 ports, the first 1000 ports, and
Mm.
we use this command. So hyphen s capital T for TCP scan, and this scan is not preferred by most of the people because it generates a lot of logs. It is very noisy scan. So if the organization is doing log monitoring, if they are generating logs, so which almost every organization do, then our IP is going to be listed inside those logs because it is quite noisy scan. So this scan
It
is
was a
not
noisy scan.
noisy scan means it's going to generate a lot of logs inside the. So if
Okay.
an organization have like SIEM tools, so log monitoring tools, or if they have IDS, intrusion detection system, firewall intrusion prevention system, IPS, so it's your IP is going to, like, they will get to know that someone is scanning. So this is what's going to happen. So which is
Mm-hmm.
why it is not preferred by many people. So what people recommend is, instead of TCP scan, we should use stealth scan. So which is, it is also called SYN scan, stealth scan. So
It is case sensitive.
yes, because we have to use capital S. So every command is different. So like capital S, capital T, small p, capital P. So we should keep notice of the
Okay.
characters. Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to make sure if it's case
Yeah, yeah.
sensitive, then what are you writing? You have to be make sure you're writing the right place, right thing.
So yeah, the difference is only is that it is not going to generate that much log,
Mm-hmm.
like the level of TCP. But obviously logs are going to be generated, but not that much than the TCP. So this is called stealth command, and if I press enter, you can see it is also going to show me all the open ports. So the scan result will be same. The only the technique is different. The output is same, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
It also displays, it also scan 1000 ports, and 23 ports are open and 977 ports are closed. So this is what stealth scan is. And let us talk about the Xmas scan. So Xmas scan is now discontinued. It's not being used, and the output is also not like accurate. So for example, I can show you. Let me show you but the output is very. So instead of S for Xmas scan, we use X, and
X.
this command is discontinued. It is not being used. So I don't know what the output will be. So as you can see, it is showing me filtered, open plus filtered. But there is no firewall inside my machine, so it is also, but it's also showing these. So this is Xmas scan, but it's nobody uses it. It's just outdated and it's discontinued. So but
Mm-hmm.
people still told us about this scan because in CEH exam, you might get one question if anybody is giving, if you might be giving or anybody is giving. So they give like one question. So what is Xmas scan, and or like how what is the command of Xmas scan, something like that. So people still told, we still being taught about this scan. So that's the reason we run this scan. So if we talk about the acknowledgement flag probe scan, so what it's going to do, it's going to detect if there is any firewall inside the network or not. So whenever we are doing any, we need to identify that if there is firewall present inside the system, then we use acknowledgement flag probe. And how it checks, so when we send the ACK packets, acknowledgement packets,
Mm-hmm.
and if we got the response, then it means, if we got the no response, then it means there is a firewall present, and if we got the So there is a firewall present, and if we got the reset, then it means there is no firewall. So that's the difference. So no
So
response,
we still going to use in the nmap, am I right?
yeah. And the command is just simple. Instead of X for acknowledgement, we use capital A, and it is going to scan. So as you can see, all 1000 scan ports on this are unfiltered, and unfiltered means there is no firewall. So open means port is open, closed means port is closed. Filtered means there is firewall, and unfiltered there is no firewall. So it's going to show you these four options. So if we got open or we got unfiltered means we are good to go, we are good to scan because there is no firewall. If we got filtered means there is firewall. If we got closed means the port is closed by the organization.
So
So
which
these
IP
are
address are we going to use it actually? You are using 0.102 right now. That's your actual IP, yeah?
actual. This is my Metasploit machine. This is the operating system. So I it is also, like, we can say it's a host machine. So we are
Okay.
scanning on hosts because we are scanning all the PCs which are connected. So I'm running this inside VirtualBox. So this is a different operating system which I am scanning.
Which is scanning in a different. So suppose my IP address is 192.168.3.15.
Yeah.
So should I go with the nmap?
Mm.
What was the command? S.
N small n map hyphen small n and the IP. So
Is it capital N or is small n?
small n.
Small n. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. It might be that's the. So I'm going to use the this one, or I'm going to use it 162, 160,
No,
192,
no.
168, 3.1.
This is your IP address, okay, your
Uh-huh.
system IP address. So
Uh-huh.
you are not going to scan this because it is your own system IP. First,
Yeah.
we need to find the PCs connected inside your system. So by knowing your IP, you know that this is class C IP, and we
Uh-huh.
how we are going to find this. We are going to use this to discover all the IP
Okay.
addresses, and once we got the list of IP addresses, then we can select one target, any target, one by one, and we will
Cool.
perform scanning on that target, not your IP. Your
Okay.
IP, yeah, we will just find any target inside the network.
Okay. So sorry, I'm trying to be annoying a little bit, but trying to learn it too at the same
Yeah, yeah.
point. Okay. So I'm gonna target one. Any of those, I'm going to target one IP
Oh, okay,
address,
okay,
yeah?
okay. So I'm scanning your, which is why I'm getting no response. So yeah, let me do my scan. So as you can see, I got these many IP addresses. So I can target, currently I was targeting 102, but I can also target 112, 113, 117. So these are the number of PCs connected into my network. I can target any one of those. Anyone.
Minus SN. Let me target one of them, 168.1. Okay. So it's not giving me anything actually. It's just. Okay, so I pick an IP address like 192.168.0.13113. So
Okay.
I'm gonna do it nmap
Yeah.
space minus SN and then space or just type
Space.
the IP address.
No, first we use SN to scan for the hosts. Once we got the host, once you got this target, then we are
Mm-hmm.
not going to ping it. We are going to scan it. So this is for ping, and if we use this, so this is for scanning for ports. So once we got the IP, we need to find the ports. So as this is the process, let me show you. Our process
Sorry,
is
I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. 73. and it would say me it's 10 hosts up 6.6 second. Okay, let's do this. Not required. No, your requested a scan type which requests root privilege querying. So that's what he said to me.
What it is saying?
Y- You requested a scan type which requires root privileges
Yeah.
querying.
So, okay, just type because you are not a root user, so this is why it is asking. So you can do
Oh,
sudo and then the command. Before your
what's
command, you
that
need to
mean?
use sudo. Sudo means super user. Super user do. So this is called for getting the root privileges. We use sudo. If you are not root, so you might not seeing root like this. Currently, you can see it is showing me root means I am the
Yeah,
super user. But in your PC, you will be getting some different thing instead of root. So
I'm
you need
getting
to use.
navneet at the rate node and then
Yeah. So
something.
once you do this and once you enter the password, then you can see the.
So I have to type the password after sudo.
First you need to, yes, then it will ask you for password. You need to
So
do sudo and the normal command, the nmap, whatever you are typing.
sudo nmap. Uh, I was scanning first, so one. Okay, it's giving me. We trust you have received unusual
It's just
lecture
giving
from a local
normal
system.
warning.
So, yeah. Hash one requested the privacy of other thing before you type with the
Yeah,
great. Okay, password for Navni.
with great power comes great
Starting
responsibility.
up. Okay. Okay, so first I'm going to scan with the ss command and it's giving me 998 close port state service open http and https 80 and 443.
Okay, so you got the result.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
So, but two ports are open, which is http and https.
yeah, so you might be, yeah, so there will be like you are searching your Windows PC, so all the ports were closed. So
Hmm.
this is why it's showing. Only two ports
So,
are open. Yeah,
what I can do, where I can go practice now? That's the thing.
where
I'm
you can
just
track.
here.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So for first learn the techniques, then there are
Okay.
various machines. So as I told you, this is a meta-exploitable tool, which is a vulnerable machine. And if I show you, it is just for practicing. So you can hack this machine. It is the machine is built for hacking. So you can use this machine to hack. You can
Okay.
hack
Okay.
this machine, all the ports. So if I do,
Okay.
and you can see these many ports are open, and we can hack each it's these parts will come later, or these are like advanced, these things will come in like advanced PT. So penetration in when you do the ECSA or another the next course, then you will get
Yeah.
all these things like how to hack machines and something like all these things, so how to find.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are
No
advanced
worry.
things.
Let's move it forward then.
Yeah, so these are our targets. These are our steps. So first we need to find live host.
Hmm.
Then open ports. We got open ports, and now we need to see
SS
the
command.
services running. And after that, we need to find versions of those services. So this is the process, and let us see. So this command will give me open ports and the services. So till yet I got these three things. So first I find the live host, I choose my one target, and that I found open ports of that target, and I found the service running on that target. So these are
Okay,
the
could you please show me the services? That's the services? Sorry,
yeah. Wait a second. Wait a second. So
where?
when you told me that HTTP, HTTPS, so those were the services running on port 80 and
Oh,
443. So
okay, okay,
this is called services. Yeah. As you
okay.
can see, port 80 HTTP.
Mhm.
Yeah. So these are called services. And what are the versions? That in a moment. So first let me finish this last scan, which is UDP scan. So by default, as I told you, Nmap is going to scan 1000 ports. It is also going to scan only the TCP. It is not going to scan the UDP ports. So there are two types of ports, TCP ports
Yep.
and UDP ports. So by default, it is only going to scan TCP. So if we want to scan UDP ports, then we have to specifically assign this command that we want you to
Mhm.
scan UDP. Now it is going to scan the UDP ports, and there are some vulnerable services like 139 and 137. These are works on UDP, so we need to find these ports.
So that's why when we were doing the previous lesson, we were checking the ports, which ports are open,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all those things. That's
Using
gonna comes
yeah,
handy.
using this plugin we can easily get to see. As and I told you that I might told you I don't know that by default if you are
These are two.
checking, yeah, these two
E-
will always open, because this is for HTTP and this is for HTTPS, and whenever
Yeah.
you visit any website, these two ports has to open,
Mhm.
otherwise website won't work, website
Yeah.
won't open.
So that's
Ah,
why the two comes handy because
yeah,
it's
that
giving us the IP addresses
and open ports.
and the open port. So we found out which is
We don't need
which
to
IP
enter the
address.
yeah, we don't need to enter the whole nmap command. It with
Uh,
just one click, whatever website we visit, it's going to give us the IP.
Okay. Sorry. Let's keep going because
So
what's happening is my headphone battery is getting low.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, it just I didn't got time to change it, I guess.
Right. So this UDP scan is going to take a lot of time. I don't know why. So I'm just going to. This is how we do UDP scan. It's going to show you the UDP ports, and let me tell you how to. What are some different things? Let me just do this to see if we got any output.
Was it T5?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you some different options in a
Okay.
moment. So how we can, because by default it is only scanning 1000. So I'm going to tell
Mhm.
you how to scan for all the 65,000 ports. And if you want to scan any specific port, only one port or two port, and what is this? And we also need to see how to find the version, because we have not find versions right now. So UDP scan is taking so much time. I'm just going to close this, but the command is this. I don't know why it's taking time. So let me just tell you. So first we will see how to find version. So to find the version, the command is this, capital V and our
Oh,
target. And if I do search, now previously we were getting three options. So state, service, and the port number. And now we are going to get port, state, version, and services. So as you can see, previously we were getting these three options. Now we are also getting version, and based on that we can find vulnerability. So this VSFTPD 2.3.4 is used in FTP. And how to find vulnerability? We just need to copy this. Just copy this, and if I search on Google if this particular version is outdated, if this has a vulnerability or not, it is going to tell me. So let me open. So if I search VSFTPD exploit, so you can see there is a vulnerability. So it is backdoor command execution. So I can take over the control of that PC. So this vulnerability is discovered in 2011, and it is going to show me that description. So it is on Unix platform, and it is going to show me which command I can use to exploit this vulnerability. So based on that, we just need to like search these things and on the internet, and it's going to show us that whether this particular version is vulnerable or not. So this is how we find vulnerability based on the versions. So versions are like quite important. So if I do exploit, we might get some. So the security vulnerability, so it is going to show us. So what are these? We are going to know about these things in module 5. So we are currently in the module 3. So what are these? So how a vulnerability is getting scored, and what is CVE, and what is everything. So we are going to know about these things. So this is how we find vulnerability. So okay, let me open terminal. So these are the version, and we can search for everything. And as I told you, this is vulnerable machine, so it is for practice. So you can technically compromise all the ports and get access. And
Is
this
it
was
yours or is it somebody else?
what I didn't hear.
Did
Is it
anybody go in there and use their service? Like
a voice is not like clear? Can you repeat one more time?
the thing you were saying
Yeah,
is to give us access to a machine, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
which is open for everyone's.
Open for no, it's not open for everyone. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's we I have installed this inside my system, so I will get the connection on this. So this machine is vulnerable, so I scan this is my target. I found open ports, I scan for version. So what are the services and what are the versions of those services running on this machine? And I found that this machine is using FTP service port on port number 21, and the version of that FTP service is VSFTPD. Okay, so this is the version. So I search on internet, so whether this version is vulnerable or not, and I
So
got the result.
are you going to give me the access for this?
Access is you can this is a vulnerable machine. So as I told you, it's like a little bit advanced version. So how to hack machine? So what you can do, you can just search. It's an operating system. So similar. This is the SourceForge,
Hmm.
sourceforge.net. You can download it from here. It's like 800 MB machine. You can it's like Linux. You just download it and you just install it, and we
Okay,
need
perfect.
yeah you can try to hack that machine.
Okay,
So
perfect. I need to know because
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's where I can do it some more, practice things.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There are
Okay.
various machines which you can hack, like, but first just clear your all the basics, and then you can, because the next step is that one also. By knowing the theory, you cannot be able to do anything. You have to
Yep.
have practical knowledge. So the end goal is that. So the CTFs. So yeah, we have found the version, and let me tell you uh,
Mm.
how to find the operating system. So we also need to find the operating system. So what operating system the machine is running. So for that we use this command hyphen capital O.
Just hold on, please.
Yeah.
एफटीपी कनेक्ट हो गया मेरा मेटा एक्सप्रेस से बैक टू ठीक है उस कमांड क्या है इसका पासवर्ड कैसे देना है
पासवर्ड ब्रूट फोर्स करो हो गया, क्या लिखा है तुमने कमांड?
मेटा एक्सप्रेशन मैंने वो कर लिया, एक्सेस ले लिया।
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the command to find the operating system, and if I press enter, you are going to see first it will do the scan, normal scan, and then it's here it is going to show me the operating system. So it is running Linux 2.6.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the operating system detail, and OS detected performed. Please report any incorrect details and blah blah. So this is how we found the operating systems using this command -o capital. So we can, like, so first we need to know like whether the machine is Windows or Linux, then we can craft our attacks and all the methodology based on operating system. So if we don't know what operating system is this, then how we can able to target, how we can able to plan our attack. So to do that we use this. And let me okay, so let me tell you, yeah, so if any scan option, it's also going to scan it. So as you can see, I haven't given any option, but still it is going to perform the basic scan. So when we don't give it any option, it is going to do the regular scan. So what is regular scan? I show you in ZenMap. So here we can see the regular scan. Yeah, so this is the regular scan without anything. So if we don't give it any option, it is going to do the regular scan. So that's for regular scan. And let me tell you, if you want to scan all the ports, so by default it's only search this, and if you want to find all the ports, we have to do
And it's gonna take a long time.
so this is, so now it's going to find all the open ports, so from TCP, UDP, everything. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what port, so to find all the ports, this is how what we use. And let me tell you about let me clear this. So if you want to scan any specific port, so I
Mm-hmm.
want to find only port 80, then it is also only going to scan a specific port. So by
And
using -p, yeah, -p is for port. And
it's a,
if you want multiple, so I want 80, I
mm,
want 135, I want 139, and I want 441. So we can separate this with comma, 443 actually. And if I press enter, so it is only going to scan these 4 ports. So 2 ports are open and 2 ports are closed. So this is how we do any specific search of any port. So, and I was talking about this, so you were asking for this. So T5, so this is a value, so T5 means scan very fast. So when I give this value, it is going to scan very fast. By default the value is T3, so it's
mm-hmm.
medium speed, but if I go give T5, it's going to scan very fast, and the value is from T0 to
T5.
yeah, T5. So T0 means super slow and T0 means super fast, and by default it is T3. So these are the different commands, and we can
So
also yeah, tell me.
so when you do T5,
Yeah,
which is fast, very fast,
yeah.
yeah. Does it run as an error as well, or do you use some different number than T3,
Well, it's
like
not,
property scan? That's what I mean.
The output will be same.
Mm-hmm.
But the only difference is going to give you the result. It fast. It's going to scan. It is going to do all the process fast. But if you are like searching for it, it might, because it is doing things very fast. There might be chance that firewall will able to detect this. So there might be a chance that firewall can detect it. So whenever there is a situation when there is a firewall, we don't scan very fast. We don't scan this. Even T3 is fast. So whenever the situation arises when a firewall is blocking our scan, we use T0. So it's going to scan even super slow, so that firewall will not doubt that something is going on. So, and there is also a command when firewall is blocking, we can use pn. So it also going to send the packet slowly, so that firewall will not doubt. So
Like how slow it goes by the bits.
yeah, yeah. And
uh,
you want, if okay, so it is searching very fast. Let me change this IP. So if we use press if we press V, oh my god, it is keep searching. Let me do something. Normal scan, and if I press V, it is going to show me. V stand for verbosity. So when you scan anything and when you press V, it is going to show you the information why it is scanning. So verbosity increased to 1, and now it is showing me live result. So increase to 2, increase to 3. So it can increase up to, like, it is current to 7, and it gives me the result. So if you want to see the live output of your search, you can use, while it is searching, you can use V on your keyboard, and it will give you the live update. That's what it's going to do.
mhm.
And we can also club multiple commands together. So I can club stealth scan with the version scan, and I will also do the OS scan. So we can club this. And why I'm clubbing it with SV, because because capital S and capital V requires small s, but capital O doesn't require small s. So we are using it separately. If it is also required, then what we can do, we can do it like this. But hyphen O is like we use it separately. We don't club this with small s, but we have to club S and V, capital S and V, with the small s. So that is why we are using these two together and this
Mhm.
separately. So if I do S and if I press V, it's going to give me some output. Not giving me any. Yeah, verbosity increased to 1. Yeah, giving me some output, and it is scanned completely. So this is how we can club multiple commands into one. So it also, so with only one command, it gives me version, and it also gives me operating system details.
Mhm.
So like it's like, yeah, the operating system details. So this is how we club multiple commands. And let me tell you, because nmap is quite big, so what you can do, there is a very good cheat sheet of nmap, which you can use for reference. So let me paste this in chat.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and it has like various commands which you can use. So
Where
as you can
is
see,
chat? Okay, let me open there. Come on. I missed it. That's gonna hurt my feeling. Hello?
yeah. So as you can see, it has various techniques. So for target
No, I
specification,
cannot see. I'm
you
froze.
cannot see.
I got frozen up. Are you trying to hack into my system now?
No,
No?
no,
Okay. I'm stuck on my Linux. How to get out of Linux? I'm
no.
stuck. I can't even go
Just
anywhere right now.
just shut down it. Shut it down.
I cannot even move my mouse.
You are running in virtual machine, na? So just close your virtual machine. It will ask you like this: save the machine state, power off, or something like this. So
I know what happened.
you can directly close the virtual machine.
I'm gonna lose all my power today. My mouse power is gone. That's why I cannot move my mouse.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I like to have my mouse. I got it, mouse. Sorry. I'm sorry. I need to get it a new battery for my wireless mouse. But I carry my wired mouse too. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Ah, do I have access now? Give me some access, buddy. Okay, I have to completely shut it down my PC. I'm gonna turn off. Okay,
Okay.
I'll be just right back in a 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah.
एसएसएस का पासवर्ड
Yep. Yeah. Hello.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So now can you see the screen?
Yes. I'm thinking you were trying to hack my
No, no,
computer or
no,
something today.
no, 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 no.
Don't
That's
lie
not.
to me.
No, no, no. That's not the case. Okay. And so this
Because
is
you won't get anything from my machine. This network don't have nothing on it.
all right,
Trust
all
me.
right. Well, that is not the case. Well, so scan techniques. So you can see all the different scan techniques and the target. And here you can see host discovery. So you know how to discover live hosts. So there are various commands. Port specification. So if you want to specify
Mhm.
single port, multiple ports, so you can specify service and version detection. So like for version detection we use this, and there are also commands. So if we use -a, hyphen capital A, it is going to do the OS detection, version detection, and script scanning and traceroute. So this one command will do all the things. So this -a will do the version scan as well as the OS detection -o. So if we use this, we don't need to use -o and -v. So that's the advantage. It is called
Mhm.
aggressive scan A. So these are the things, and this is the timing and performance. So as you can see, if it's -t cap small 0, and it's paranoid intrusion detection system evasion. So for bypassing firewall, for bypassing intrusion detection system, we use this, and T5 is like insane, and T3, this is the normal speed. So these are the things, and we are going to talk about the NSC. What is NSC? So yeah, let's just talk about the NSC. So NSC stands for Nmap script engine. So Nmap scripting engine. So this is called NSC. And what is NSC is, it is a script which is written by multiple users. So anybody can, if you know Ruby programming language, you can create your own NSC script and you can upload it on Nmap for other people to use. So NSC is just used for advanced scanning, advanced detection. So how to locate that? So if I do locate command NSC, okay, so let me do .NSC. By the way, in Linux, in order to find anything, we use locate command. So yeah, it show me this is where the location is. So let me do the cd/user share nmap and scripts. So this is the location, and if I enter, I'm inside scripts. If I do ls, you can see these are the number of scripts. So ls-l. So these are the number of scripts we can use. So there are almost 500 scripts which we can use. So for everything, like if you want to do some scanning on, like, let me tell you, for DNS, so for domain name server, it's going to do that. And if you want to do it like FTP, it is going to do that. And if you want to do HTTP, there are various commands, and for XMP, for Tor, Telnet, so SSL services. So there are like a lot of commands which you can use. So let me tell you how to use them. So first, here we are going to use this whois. So it's going to tell me the whois details of, like, the website. So with Nmap we can also use website, we can also scan websites. So if I use the command nmap script, in order to use any script we need to use this command --script equals to the script name and the IP address. So I'm scanning certifiedhacker.com, and it is going to give me the whois. First it is going to do the regular scan, which it does by default.
Nmap, yep.
And after the regular scan, it is going to perform this whois. So let me show you. So first it does the nmap scan, and after the regular scan it executes the script, and here you can see the domain information. So this is the domain name and registrar, and this is the update date, creation date. So it is going to, and this is the email. So this person hides his email ID, and this is the contact phone number, and this is the name server. So these are the things we can do with the command. Is just --script equals to, and after this equals to, you can copy this, you can copy and paste this, you can, based on the thing we need, you can copy and paste that. So this is how we use NSC, Nmap script engine. And after these things we are going to see the how to scan beyond IDS and firewalls. So how you can able to bypass the IDS and firewall if they are blocking you. So how to do that? So let me show you. So the first thing
So
is
should we do that once in the next class?
okay. No worries. We
I'm
can
taking
continue.
interested, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's
It's
not gonna come in
almost
my.
2 hours. Yeah.
No, it's 3 o'clock my time, almost morning.
Yeah.
Kukuduku.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
that's why I was just saying, like, let's take next class this one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,